Okay, this is Paul Hardingham, Season 3 student with Binary Alpha. Just doing a review. Somebody from Season 4 posted a very useful, interesting question. Paolo asked the question here. This signal here, we'd come through, this is a level 1 break on the Kazi high-low. So it's a bit risky to start with, and Kazi never advises beginners to trade level 1 trades, but let's look at this anyway. And Paolo had also drawn a trend line from the other side of the world. Again, that needs reviewing in Kazi's training. He says never draw a trend line from the other side of the world. In other words, above this blue 130 moving average. So here is a better trend line, which is from these 3 points on the candles. And we can see here we've got plenty of space between this point and that point. Plenty of space, which potentially implies that this would become a valid 7th. But we need to look at several things. It's also crossed the moving average, the second losing candle. So we had a flag candle first of all. Let me just get this marked up. So that's a flag candle. Remember, mark up your pictures properly as well, your charts, so you can come back and review them. And then we had a bonus, which is this candle here. Then we had a loss. Our first loss, which was this candle here, and a second loss, and this is where it becomes 7th logic. Let me just move this down on the screen so you can see this. And this is where it becomes 7th logic, because once we've had 2 losses in a row, we're then looking at 7th logic. So is this invalid, indecision, the 7th, or is it a valid 7th? Well, the gap suggests it's valid. It also suggests it's valid because it's crossed the moving average, the second moving average. It's back within that point there. But one of the other things that we also learn with Kazi with the training is there's another parameter, which is to look at the higher time frame. What's the overall trend? We can look at the 1 hour trend, but let's just quickly mark up to show where the hour is on this chart. So let's just move this to 1600, and we're going to put the other line here at 1700. So what I've also marked here is this blue line is indicating the start of the candle of the 1 hour candle. We can see the price came down, price went back up, came back down again, so we've got a wick above the top of the candle here, and then the price came down. And at this point, we're having to make our decision. Is this a valid 7th or is it an invalid 7th? Well, if we go and look at the 1 hour chart, so here we've got the 1 hour chart for the 1600, the 1 hour candle of the 1600, and I've marked on here the yellow line, which, let's put this on screen so you can see it, is at 119.334. The 119.334 is the time that we're seeing that this candle, at the end of the second losing candle, it's 119.336. That's as close as we need to be on that, 119.336. So looking at the 1 hour chart again, and the 1 hour chart gives us either a conflict or a confirmation, whichever way we want to read it. We've already, remember, said it was a 1 hour, sorry, it's a level 1, so that gives us a bit of a cause for concern. But let's look at this 1 hour chart, this candle here. Now we've got a very strong downtrend here. We've got the four previous hours were all down, down, down. The second moving average on the 1 hour chart is strongly down. And at this point here, as we're hitting the yellow mark, that's where the candle was. So we've had a week up. We've got just a few minutes left in the hour. Let's go back and see how long we had left. So this was at 16:48, so we've got 12 minutes left on the candle. Actually, there's a reasonable amount of time left on the candle, so that's fine. But if we look left at the last 48 hours on the 1 hour candle, there's nothing here. There's nothing for this candle to stop it from going any lower. And so it's logical to say it's broken through the second moving average. It's a strong downtrend, so the indications are this is still coming down, and that's what makes this an invalid 7th. So it's not going to reverse and go back up what a valid 7th would do. You've got plenty of gap. You'd take a 2-minute trade, and so that would be a very, very easy win using binary alpha logic and invalid 7th trade. And what I'd also say here is, I remember seeing someone else who did analysis. It's worth going back, looking at charts, spending time, lots and lots of time, work out, well, why would that be an invalid 7th? Go through the various rules and regulations that would, logic that would help you come to that conclusion. Make sure you check up on that plenty of times. Spend hours looking at the charts. That's how you learn. This is not a sprint, this is a marathon, and that's how I would suggest that you can really learn binary alpha logic. Feel free to disagree as well with what you think on my trading analysis of this. That's what it's all about: teamwork, discussing, learning from each other, and seeing if that makes sense. But for me, that's an invalid 7th, and that's confirmed by the 1 hour chart, and that would be a winning trade, 2-minute trade on the invalid 7th.